So to start, we're going to make a matcha paste. So we're going to mix together our sifted matcha powder with a little bit of hot water to form a paste, and that will be the base of our cupcakes. You really want to make sure that you are using ceremonial grade matcha, which is the best quality and will have the best flavor overall. So we have about 3 teaspoons of matcha powder here, and I'm going to mix in 1.5 tablespoons of hot water. You don't want it to be too hot because you don't want to scorch the matcha, but a little over 100 degrees, 150 degrees is a good temperature here. And we'll whisk this together to get any clumps out and dissolve all of the powder. Next, we're going to start mixing in our milk, sugar, olive oil, and our vanilla. So we have 1 cup of macadamia milk. You could use any kind of milk that you like, any other nut milk that you prefer. I really like the sweetness of the macadamia nut that is here. So we'll go ahead and mix that in. And we'll also add in 1 cup of sugar. And then we are going to do 1/3 cup of our organic extra virgin olive oil. This olive oil has the mildest taste of all of our olive oils. It's a really great olive oil for baking with. It's a little bit fruity, very delicate, so it doesn't overpower the rest of the flavor in whatever you're baking. So this is going to be really, really great to pair with the matcha in this recipe, which is a little bit bitter and has some of those more vegetal notes, just like the olive oil does. So we're going to do 1/3 cup, and then we'll do 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Okay, and we will whisk this together till it's nice and smooth. We're going to add in about 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice, and this is about from 1/2 of a lemon. And then we'll add in our dry ingredients. So we have 1 3/4 cup of cake flour. So we'll go ahead and add that in. We will also do 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Give our cupcakes a little bit of air, help it rise. And finally, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We'll mix this up. The key thing here is to not over mix the batter. So mix it just until the flour is incorporated and has dissolved and you don't really see any more white streaks, but don't go too far beyond that. All right, we're gonna line our cupcake tin with some paper liners. And I think the easiest way to transfer the batter into the pan is to use an ice cream scooper like this. And you want to fill up each liner about 3/4 of the way full. We're going to bake these for about 20 to 22 minutes in a 350-degree oven. And we'll check them by inserting a toothpick once they come out to make sure everything comes out clean. To make our frosting, it's going to be a classic buttercream frosting. We're going to be using some vegan butter, powdered sugar, a little bit of milk, and to flavor it, we're going to use some freeze-dried raspberries. So the first step is we're going to just pulse these in a little food processor to form a really fine powder, and then we're going to mix that into our frosting as we go. Perfect. So we're gonna add our pulsed raspberries in with our powdered sugar. We have about 1.5 cups of powdered sugar here. And just whisk this together. We'll set this aside and then we'll get working on our butter. So we have some vegan butter here, about 1 cup. And we're just gonna whip this up to soften it a little bit. It's already been softening out of the fridge for over an hour, but I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit. We're gonna add our powdered sugar into the butter just a little bit at a time because we don't want it to go everywhere as we mix it up. So just start with about 1/4 cup at a time. So about halfway through, we're going to add our milk. So we have about 1.5 teaspoons of our macadamia nut milk here. Again, you can use any non-dairy milk or dairy milk that you would like. And then about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Finally, we'll add just a pinch of salt. We can always add a little more afterwards if we want to taste it and see if it needs more, but the salt will just help bring out the flavors of everything in the frosting. We will transfer our frosting to a piping bag. so that we can easily pipe it onto our cupcakes. There we go. And we can store this in the fridge until we're ready to use it. Vegan butter tends to be really soft and doesn't hold its shape as well, so it's really, really important to store your frosting in the fridge, as well as store the cupcakes once they're done in the fridge so the butter in the frosting doesn't melt. All right, our cupcakes have just come out of the oven, and we're gonna just make sure they're all done. Perfect, yeah, so our toothpick came out clean, so these should be good to go. It's a good idea to remove them from the pan to let them cool. All right, so it's time to frost our cupcakes, and we're gonna prepare some of our toppings. So on top of the frosting, we're going to do some chopped macadamia nuts. They're a little bit sweet and really creamy, so I think they pair really nice with these matcha cupcakes. And then I also have some extra freeze-dried raspberries that we used in the frosting, and we'll just use these to put on top, make a really pretty presentation. So these macadamia nuts have been roasted to help bring out the flavor. Just gonna chop them up to give the cupcakes a little bit of that crunch on top. All right, so I'm gonna take our frosting. So we'll just top each one with a few macadamia nuts. And then to finish, we will just do one little raspberry on top. I love the colors of these cupcakes. Oh my gosh. The green with the pink, it's just so gorgeous and beautiful. So moist. The sort of like vegetal flavor of the matcha with the olive oil goes perfectly. Not too sweet, which I really like. The frosting is very sweet, so kind of adds that extra punch. And they're just a really lovely texture. Soft, cakey, delicious. I hope that you'll give these matcha raspberry olive oil cupcakes a try. They're absolutely delicious. I think they would make a wonderful sort of party dessert and could be really great for Valentine's Day as well. We will link the recipe below, and for more recipes, just go to zucchi.us/recipes. We have loads of olive oil tips and recipes there. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao.